With local celebrity host Steve-O. Sit back each week while Steve-O educates you with live in-studio experts, such as lawyers, doctors, home improvement, and financial experts in their field. Call in and have your questions answered each week at 888-565-1470. Now, here is Steve-O with today's expert in their field.
Hey, good afternoon. This is another show, Ask the Experts, where we actually try to bring on the type of experts that you ask us. And we received so many emails about low back pain. Now, we just didn't want to get just anybody. We didn't want to get a chiropractor. We wanted to get a doctor, an MD. And I was hoping if we could find an anesthesiologist. They know more about pain than anybody. We were so lucky to find Dr. Lawrence Gorfine. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is your first show.
Yes, it is.
Nothing to be nervous about, because we're going to, for the next 30 minutes, we're going to teach people all the different areas about back pain and what you can actually do for them. Because I think there's a lot of new things out there that people know nothing about. So I want to get started. First of all, tell everybody about your practice.
Well, thank you.
How long have you been in practice?
Well, thank you. I'm an anesthesiologist.
See, I told you.
I've been in practice for more than 30 years now, and I've subspecialized in interventional pain medicine. Interventional pain medicine is not using narcotics, not covering up the pain, but identifying the source of the pain, the injury, and treating that directly with a variety of different new modern techniques that we've developed over the last 15 or 20 years.
So a lot of times you hear people, I left, I was in pain, I was doubled over, and the doctor gave me a few pills to reduce, I guess, swelling, and I still had pain. So they really didn't diagnose the problem. They just gave something to cover up the pain for a little while.
Right. Well, there are a lot of different treatments that people use. They use different kinds of therapy, heat, ice, traction, and pills, and all kinds of different pills. Basically what we try to do
is something completely different.
Well, we try to find the real source of what the problem is and direct our treatment right to that source.
So we're talking back pain today, but I want everybody to know you provide other services too, not just back pain.
Yes, I do.
So what other areas do you deal in?
Well, we treat all kinds of sports injuries, people who suffer from motor vehicle accidents. We'll treat shoulder pain, shoulder injuries, knee, hip, elbow, tennis elbow, for example. Even plantar fasciitis we treat with actually new modern techniques to resolve the cause of the plantar fasciitis, so people don't have to worry about it for long periods of time.
Well, I came by your office. First of all, this is a beautiful office, extremely easy to find. Actually, it's in Palm Beach. I've actually been over in that area. I never even knew about that big complex back there, but you look like you could just treat anything. There was rooms after rooms after rooms.
Well, thank you very much. No, we have a Florida-certified surgical facility. We don't do open surgery, but we have a very high standard, and we treat a great variety of different medical injuries and chronic pain problems.
So we're talking about back pain today, and I'm sure everybody has had some kind of back pain. Are there different types of back pain?
Well, there are different causes and different areas that the pain is coming from. Back pain is a word that encompasses a whole variety of different issues. And it can be very complicated, and it can be difficult to exactly find the source. And that's what we're specialized in doing, and identifying the source. If you don't identify the right spot, you can't treat it correctly.
So you mostly hear people talk about low back pain. Why is that?
Well, the spine is a long column, and if you remember your physics from high school, at the bottom of a column, when there's pressure, it's like a lever, and the maximum amount of force is applied to the lower part of our spine. For example, if we bend and we pick up a suitcase, the maximum amount of strain is on the lowest part of the spine, and that's why we tend to have injuries and pain from that lowest part of the spine.
And if you've ever had low back pain, I've had it. You can't even breathe. I mean, I have had to crawl out of bed. Are there exercises that people can do at home, maybe to not have the low back pain come up as much as it does? Because I know they had showed me some exercise. Again, this was a long time ago, but it seems like everyone I had talked to, it's always low back pain.
Yes,
and they're holding their back.
Well, unfortunately, usually by that time they've already created it or had an injury in that area. But your original question is there exercises. General muscle tone and muscle strength protects us. Think of the football players. They do off-season lots and lots of exercises to develop strength and tone in their muscles. Now, muscles we know move parts of our body. However, muscles also are the first line of defense against forces that are applied to our body. So forces applied to our lower back, first the muscles will absorb some of that energy. Additional energy then gets transmitted to the spine and to the joints of the spine. So good, strong muscles relieve a lot of that force that's applied to the spine.
Why do you hear you don't want to have back surgery if you can help it? You want to be treated, but not necessarily with surgery.
Well, that's a major core of my medical practice, and that is that the spine that we've studied is an amazing structure. We bend, we turn, we twist, we carry heavy objects. We like to keep the spine as it was designed to be, and as it was at birth for us. We don't like to modify and change it. Unfortunately, surgery does do mechanical modifications of the spine, and we try to avoid that from happening. That's why we've over the last few years tried to come up with new and better ways to treat low back pain problems.
You know, when you watch TV, especially at night, there's always these commercials for back pain. All these cures out there. I don't trust any of those because, you know, when you have back pain, it is very severe. There's sometimes you're doubled over, and I just can't see some $10 pill is going to straighten me out.
Well,
am I close to being right?
You are. I mean, these, because back pain is so common, there's a great market for people to sell all kinds of devices and cures. And some of them work temporarily.
Okay, that's the key word.
Meaning that your symptoms feel better for a few hours, and you get optimistic that you'll continue to be better if you keep using whatever that device or object happens to be. The problem is, again, you need to go to a real doctor to find and identify the original area where the pain is coming from and directly treat that area.
So if I come into your office, again, we're just going to stick to back pain today. If I come into your office and I'm doubled over, you're going to do what on me first?
Well, first I'll talk to you for a little bit. I'll ask you, how did this happen? What caused this pain to occur? And what I do is I visualize in my own mind what your body did, and that helps me to be able to direct where the forces were applied to your back or what happened. For example, when you bent over, you went to stand up. If that occurred, usually it's a joint in your spine that got caught or twisted or strained. Were you lifting something? Were you turning and twisting when this occurred? Then I'll ask you questions. Where is your pain? What makes your pain worse? What makes your pain better? And all of this information helps to put the pieces in the puzzle to figure out exactly what the cause of the pain is. After that, I will examine you, and usually after an examination with all of this other information, we can pretty well pinpoint what the issue is.
And then when it comes to treatment, what are some of the things you do now to treat lower back pain?
Okay. Again, we need to do is to start to look at
it's not a cookie cutter.
It isn't. What's the cause? Back in the before 1934, We had no idea really what was going on in the back. We knew people had back pain. In 1934, there was the first operation for a herniated disc, and it was very successful. Doctors were in an amphitheater at the Massachusetts General Hospital. They watched this procedure, and then afterwards they went back to all different parts of the country, and they started doing back surgery for herniated discs. So what we've done is, over the years, is we've kind of conceptualized that the herniated disc is the cause of back pain. Over the years, we realized that that's not always the cause. It causes back pain in some instances, but probably a lot less commonly than what we've thought. Over the years, we've started to realize that there's a little joint in the spine called a facet joint, F-A-C-E-T, a facet joint. A facet joint is located at the back part of the spine where the bone on top meets the bone down below. The facet joint stabilizes our back. If we didn't have a facet joint, we couldn't stand upright, and our body would just spin around. These facet joints, though, because our back is so flexible and mobile, these facet joints move all the time. Any structure, any joint that moves a lot is subject to potential injury. So the facet joints are probably 70 to 75% of the time the major cause of low back pain. If that's the case, we directly treat these facet joints.
So is there a lot of movement in the back when someone sneezes? Because I noticed with my problem, I could sneeze, hard sneeze, and that back it was out.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the movement.
That's one of the movements, and a sneeze is actually a very complex kind of a maneuver. We build up pressure in our abdomen, which pushes strain on the spine, and we turn and twist as we sneeze and move forward. So yes, the answer is a sneeze very often does cause some significant back pain.
And it's all about the kind of movement. What is facet joint? Because you brought that up before. What is that?
Okay, the facet joints are like any other joint in our body.
See, he says it better than me.
Well, I've had some practice doing
Yes.
that. The facet joint is like any other joint in the body. It's one piece of bone with another piece of bone that touches each other. It stabilizes our back and has movement. The joint itself, though, has what's called articular cartilage as a pad on each side of the bone. So the bone doesn't rub against the bone. The pad of cartilage is what touches the other side. Now, if the facet joint gets injured, an injury can damage that articular cartilage. If that happens, the bone can rub against the bone. Now, if someone has just a mild injury to a facet joint, which is the most common,
What kind of sports injury, auto accident?
Auto accident, whiplash type injury. You're lifting something and suddenly you feel sudden back pain. You get on your hands and knees cleaning the floor and you go to get up. Your back is in a little awkward position. That facet joint can get tweaked or pinched, and it can get very painful. And a lot of times that's the pain that you were talking about just a minute ago, where you can't stand up straight because as you go to stand up or as you take a deep breath, that joint moves a little bit. And that movement, just like any other joint of the body, if it's swollen and inflamed, will cause you a lot of severe pain.
You should have been a college professor. Seriously, the way you explain things. We're going to go to our break, but I'm going to tell you, so I want you to do this great favor for me. You know, we all of a sudden can come up with pain, and what do we do? And there's so many crazy things out there. Let me give you Dr. Gorfine's phone number. It's 561-649-8770. Let me give it to you again. Write this down. You never know when you might need Dr. Gorfine. 561-649-8770. Go to his website. You can actually watch our show today on his website, which is www.careinjury, that's C-A-R-E, injury.com. And you can actually watch today's show. We're going to go to break now. When we come back, we've got more to talk about when it comes to back pain.
When you're in pain, life seems to lose its colors. Whether you're suffering from neck and back pain, sports injuries, or injuries from automobile accidents, Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute can relieve your pain. The board-certified physicians at Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute are dedicated to treating your injury or condition and stopping your pain. What makes Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute so unique is their ability to avoid surgery by treating you with innovative and leading-edge, minimally invasive orthopedic techniques. Dr. Lawrence Gorfine treats herniated discs, neck and back pain, shoulder, hip, and knee injuries and conditions. Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute is considered state-of-the-art as it relates to pain, injuries, and chronic conditions. Don't put up with the pain anymore. Call Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute at 561-649-8770. That's 561-649-8770.
Yes, we're sitting here with our new show. We're here with Dr. Lawrence Gorfine, Gorfine, easy. You know, I know someone right now sitting in the audience who has some kind of pain. Maybe might be a shoulder pain or neck pain, and they've tried so many things and nothing's worked. I'm going to tell you, give it one more shot with Dr. Gorfine. I'm telling you, I feel so comfortable with him. He was an anesthesiologist, and, you know, I've been doing this for 8 years, and I've always been told when it comes to pain management, try to find an anesthesiologist. Why do they say that when it comes to pain?
Well, first of all, our training is really quite broad. We've spent many years in the operating room. We've seen all kinds of different operations. We need to understand the physiology of how our bodies work, the mechanics of how it works, and along with that, we have learned what causes these injuries. And if you put all of these together, it makes it easy for us to understand what's happened and how we can try to fix those problems.
And you still do blocks, right?
Oh, yes.
So, I mean, and that's usually, if you've suffered some major pain and they do a block on you, at least you get some relief out of it.
Well, you know, the word block is a little bit difficult because people use that for just about everything that we do. Back to these little facet joints that we spoke about just a minute ago, if one of them gets tweaked, they get swollen. A lot of times, the treatment is to stop the swelling because the joint will heal. So what we'll do is instead of doing a nerve block, which is commonly what people call it, we actually take a little needle, put the needle into the joint, and we inject a little bit of an anti-inflammatory medication to make the swelling go away. When the swelling goes away, first of all, the person's pain goes away, but more importantly, that joint starts to heal, and that person will get better. And particularly if the joint it's a younger person or a person that hasn't had any significant problems with the back in the past, that joint will heal, and they'll never have that problem again.
Tell everybody, what is a pinched nerve? You hear that a lot, too.
Well, a pinched nerve is when something is squeezing on the nerve. Now, a lot of times that's misunderstood also, because if someone has pain down the leg, a lot of times they'll think that their sciatic nerve is being pinched. Well, pain down the leg could be just a radiation of pain pattern, meaning that it could be something that's not pinching a nerve, but just sending the sensation of pain that we are perceiving coming from the leg. And, you know, a doctor will then look and see, where is the pain? Does it relate to anything that's specifically pushing on a nerve in the spine? And most of the time it doesn't. But if it does, then that nerve is actually being pinched. But people use that term all the time, but it's overused, and a lot of times.
How do you treat if it's a pinched nerve? How do you treat that?
If it's truly a pinched nerve, we compare the MRI results showing that a specific nerve is being impacted or squeezed. Very often, all you need to do is to put a little bit of cortisone onto that nerve, an anti-inflammatory medication, and that reduces the swelling in that area. And a lot of times people get better, and they don't need surgery.
Oh, that's good. So we just talked about herniated disc. What is a herniated disc?
Now the disc is a jelly-like structure that works as a spacer. So that the vertebral bones, one bone doesn't bang against the other. It separates it, allowing for that flexibility in the spine. Now, sometimes that structure breaks, and when it breaks, a little bit of it will protrude or push out. When it pushes out, it can sometimes push against a nerve, and if it does, that would be
Painful.
Very painful. Yes.
Do you operate on that?
Well, if there's significant motor weakness, that means that there's a difference in strength or movement of a leg or an arm. Yes. Or if there's what we call sensory loss, meaning sensation is different, then we'll operate. Most of the time, though, a little bit of cortisone on that area will reduce the swelling, pain, and that individual will not need surgery.
So most of the time, it seems like it's about reducing swelling.
Very often, yes.
And once you can do that, then a lot of the pain's going to go away.
Right. But it's important for people to know and to understand that swelling needs to be reduced fairly quickly. Swelling, if it lasts for long periods of time, can actually cause further damage to that area. So, if you've ever been to a pain doctor and the doctor's done a shot or an injection, you don't get better, a lot of times it's because that area hadn't been treated quickly enough. There are many other ways to treat areas that have been damaged with interventional pain medicine techniques. But it's important to go to a real doctor as quickly as possible and have that evaluated and look and see if treatment is beneficial and helpful.
You know what I like about your practice? This is all you do, is pain management.
That's right.
You don't have a bunch of shingles out. We do acupuncture, we do this, we do. It's strict. You're an MD, strictly doing pain management.
That's right. Yes.
Let me tell you something. That's where you want to be at. I want to tell everybody again just a little bit about your practice. You're located in Palm Beach.
West Palm Beach.
Very easy to find.
Right at I-95.
Yes, right off 95. How long have you been in practice for?
30 years.
Been doing it for a while.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I think is the greatest part about what you do is the people, how they come in and then how they leave. Because a lot of people come in excruciating pain. And you can actually, with some of these people come in, can reduce that, at least maybe not that minute, but within the next 2 or 3 days.
It's nice to see their smiles.
Yeah, yes. I bet it is. And tell me some of the other areas that you do also, that you service.
Well, we do a lot of any kind of sports injury. Shoulder injuries are very common. Tennis elbow, golfer's elbow. As I mentioned before, knee issues, knee pains, and hip. Pretty much, any kind of sports injury. We see a lot of whiplash type injuries after motor vehicle accidents.
Right. I bet you see a lot of golf injuries, especially in Palm Beach.
We do, and wrist injuries. Yes, I mean.
So now, do you do anything with what is with the wrist? I just went blank on it. Where you have it's supposed to be very painful, but your fingers actually get
carpal tunnel.
Yeah, is that? I never hear anybody.
No, we don't do that. We usually don't do that. That's more of a chronic problem that we don't usually deal with.
Well, you just said the word chronic.
Yes.
What's different in pain and chronic pain?
Well, what I mentioned before was the acute pain when you get an injury and motor vehicle accident. Now, chronic pain occurs very frequently for a whole bunch of different reasons. One is if an area is inflamed for long periods of time, that becomes chronic. It becomes long-lasting kind of pain. The older individuals, some people call it aging. I like to call it wear and tear, because we use our body a lot.
The body does break down,
and there are changes that can occur. However, many of those changes can be stopped and reversed to some degree using some of the new modern techniques that we have today.
So here's a big question.
Yes.
I hurt my back, 9 o'clock at night. I can't see Dr. Gorfine until the next day. Do I ice or put heat on?
I get that question all the time. My answer is whatever works.
Really?
Some people, it's really quite interesting. Some people swear by ice, some people swear by heat. And then there are others who use ice and heat alternately.
Okay.
So whatever
works. You
works.
heard this thing of the first 24 hours you use ice, and after that heat. But then you hear someone say, oh, no, put heat on it. And, what do I do? But they need some type of relief until they can see you the next day.
Right. Yes.
So what's going to reduce, is there anything you can do to reduce the swelling on your own till they can see you the next day?
If you medically are able to take something like an Advil or anti-inflammatory, that can help. I'm careful because there are some people who have stomach issues and so on. They can't take that. But again, ice, heat, rest. Usually, that's enough just to get you through.
Boy, there's so many things out on the market now. You see the patch on the back, and this one goes from cold to hot. But listen, if you do it at 9 o'clock at night and you can't see Dr. Gorfine until the next morning, that's a long time to be in pain for.
Yes, it is.
And when you understand, like you do, you understand this pain, you feel for people. So what we've done with this show, we're going to give you a practice here in South Florida, because you get patients, I'm sure, from Fort Lauderdale and from Boca, that there is a way out that you can come in. Just call his office. Let me give you the phone number, 561-649-8770. And just because nothing's worked for you, that doesn't mean there's nothing out there. And if you saw Dr. Gorfine's practice, his clinic, you would understand what I'm talking about. You seem like you have everything that you could possibly to be able to treat somebody. Well, that just sounded good to me. Here's his website. Go to his website. He's got a great website. And again, you can watch the show. It's www.careinjury.com. And Dr. Gorfine's going to be with us every month. Next month, we'll probably talk about another area of the body. But back pain, I would say, is the most important. Let me give you the phone number again. It's 561-649-8770. And it's Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic. That's the name of the clinic. But you have the phone number. And seriously, folks, if you've been suffering from any kind of pain at all and you have not been able to get relief, don't give up yet. Give Dr. Gorfine's office a call tomorrow. Hey, we're going to go to break, and we're going to be talking about dental implants when we come back. Thanks, Dr. Gorfine.
Thank you.
When you're in pain, life seems to lose its colors. Whether you're suffering from neck and back pain, sports injuries, or injuries from automobile accidents, Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute can relieve your pain. The board-certified physicians at Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute are dedicated to treating your injury or condition and stopping your pain. What makes Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute so unique is their ability to avoid surgery by treating you with innovative and leading-edge, minimally invasive orthopedic techniques. Dr. Lawrence Gorfine treats herniated discs, neck and back pain, shoulder, hip, and knee injuries and conditions. Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute is considered state-of-the-art as it relates to pain, injuries, and chronic conditions. Don't put up with the pain anymore. Call Palm Beach Spine and Diagnostic Institute at 561-649-8770. That's 561-649-8770.
Get your smile ready for summer. Are you missing teeth? Do you have loose teeth? Can you bite into an apple? Is your smile ready to hit the beach this summer with confidence? We all work out and try to look great since we live in paradise. You need a smile to match. The South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry can help you replace those failing or missing teeth with a beautiful smile and the confidence you deserve. The doctors at the South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry have helped thousands of patients rejuvenate their smiles for nearly 30 years by replacing failing and missing teeth with dental implants. Often new teeth are replaced the very same day using the technique they pioneered more than 15 years ago. Teeth today. At the South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry, all of their doctors are board-certified dental specialists. They have placed thousands of dental implants. And we all know that experience matters. Call the South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry today to schedule your free consultation. Call them at 561-912-9993. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, we are back. I love doing this next show. This is the Ask the Expert show where we bring in South Florida's finest doctors and lawyers. This next show is implants. It's South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry. You've got to have periodontics in there, in the name of the practice, because that's a big part of your practice too. And let me introduce you to, I just call him Dr. Jeff. So, and I just found out that you were part of the Extreme Makeover that was on TV for years.
Yeah, I was the periodontist and the implant surgeon for that show when it came out. That ran in 2002, 2003, and 2004.
It's a very popular show.
It was great, and it was actually one of the first reality TV shows that got the whole genre going. Bill Dorfman, who was the dentist that sort of
Dr.
created
Dorfman.
that, he is a dentist, cosmetic dentist in
Los
LA.
Angeles, right? Yeah.
And he kind of put this together with one of his patients, and they were talking about, well, what if we had, or could we create a show that showed transformation of people? And they included all kinds of procedures. And it's interesting how I got involved with it because
That was a hit show.
it was a big hit.
Yes.
It was on ABC.
Right.
It ran for about 4 years.
Yeah, I saw the last 2 years, and I was like shocked when it went off.
It was
love the
awesome.
show. Yeah.
And it put all sorts of procedures, cosmetic procedures on the map. At that time, a lot of people didn't know about LASIK,
Right.
Vision correction. They were doing all sorts of plastic surgical procedures.
Now they got botched on now.
Yeah.
Which is not, it's just not the same.
It isn't, and that's you watch that show to see how badly someone got hurt and then how you
Right.
fix it. On Extreme Makeover, it was a feel-good show
It
because you watched it to see how people got better fast.
You went from somebody that didn't look so good just to, you would go, is that the same person?
People were transformed, and so they had they were focusing on LASIK, they were focusing on cosmetic surgery, they were focusing on dermatology, and they were also focusing on veneers and some traditional dental procedures that was really good in terms of fixing teeth that had broken down, but they weren't doing anything with replacing teeth. So what happened is my dental assistant came in one day and she was telling me she was watching this new show called Extreme Makeover and was amazed at how they transformed these patients.
Were you down here? Or
I'm in Florida, yeah.
You were in Florida?
I was in
then?
Florida.
Okay.
So,
But it originated out of Los Angeles.
correct. And that's a different part of the story. But so she was describing how they were doing these great procedures, but when patients were missing teeth, all they were doing was putting partial dentures in or complete dentures. And they were sort of selling it on the show as that this is a really good replacement if you're missing teeth. And it was awful. And we knew that. And it was really shocking because we were doing these immediate load implant procedures. We were calling it Teeth Today at the time.
Back then, you called it teeth today?
Oh, yeah. We did our
Wow.
first cases in the mid-'90s. So we were pretty good at it by the time 2002 rolled around.
You're kind of a pioneer of implants.
We're among the first to do these
and
kinds of
you're
things.
right here in South Florida, in Palm Beach.
We've been doing it a long time and really well. And I had been on the lecture circuit for those procedures in professional circles. So I had some credibility. I had some publications. I had a lot of cases. I had a lot of testimonials. And I didn't believe my assistant when she told me that they were putting partial dentures and full dentures in patients in order to replace their teeth. So the next week I went, I watched the show, and sure enough, that's exactly what they were doing. And I watched the credits roll, so I knew who the editors were, and I just to find out who I could contact. And Bill Dorfman's name came
Very
up
popular
because he
name.
was one of the
Yeah.
originators of the show. So I assembled some of my documentation. I said before and after photos, some testimonials, some of the papers that we put together, and sent it to him. And at that time, I knew that if I sent something by overnight mail, it meant that it was important.
Right.
Today, we get overnight mail and you
that's
just
true.
throw it in a pile. At that point, in 2002, it meant that this is something you should look at.
Exactly.
He threw it into a pile. And I called him a couple of times, and finally I got him to open the envelope. And he called me back and he said, "Hey, this is pretty interesting." So the first thing they did is he tried to find an implant surgeon in the LA area
Right.
who could do the procedure, because logistically it was just much easier.
Yeah, because you're down here in South Florida.
Because I'm in Florida
Yeah.
and they're over there. And he called around, he couldn't find anybody to do it in
Wow.
LA in
And
2002.
what year was this?
2002.
Wow.
So he called me back and he said, "Okay, we can do this." He said, "But you got to get a license to practice out here, because we have to shoot it in my office."
Right.
And our whole production setup is here and everything else. So,
But he was a dentist, though.
correct.
But he didn't do implants.
He was a dentist. He was not a specialist. He wasn't a surgeon. And he couldn't find anybody in LA or in California or even on the West Coast
Right.
that was doing what we were doing in South Florida at that time. So I got my license, and he sent me a couple of patients, and we said, "Okay, we can do that one," and flew out there. And it was one of the most terrifying flights, I think, in my life, because I realized that in my professional aspirations, being on primetime TV was never on that list.
Yes. It wasn't in your bucket list.
No, and what's more, I was working outside of my comfort zone.
Right, because it's someone else's office.
And I thought that this was an opportunity to sort of commit professional suicide on primetime television. But it turns out it worked out great.
Did you get calls from people
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of
around
calls.
because it was a nationally known show?
We got news coverage, a lot of it in South Florida. In fact, a lot of that is on our website. Some of those short pieces,
Right.
which is www.flsmile for floridasmile.com. So those are in there, the Extreme Makeover pieces. And I wound up doing 4 shows for Extreme Makeover. And then Dorfman contracted with a British company called Brand New You. We did a few more shows for them, and they shot it all out in Southern California. And it was great. And I tell people all the time now that a lot of these patients had facelifts, they had brow lifts, they had LASIK. All of that stuff has probably sagged, fallen, or fallen
But not the
in
teeth.
disrepair. But the teeth are still there.
Wow. That is
And,
amazing. And you got patients in from all over the United States.
We
from
got a
doing-
lot of coverage worldwide. And I know that in boardrooms, for instance, for the implant companies that we work with, which are Swiss-based, I know that the board of directors used to sit in their meetings and watch the videotapes of these procedures because they got a kick out of it. It really put implant dentistry on the map. And it started to break the expectation that implant dentistry took a long time to get any kind of result from, because we were showing people walking in with nothing and walking out with beautiful teeth. And we're still doing that today. I still have people walk in my office and don't believe that it's possible or that it happened. But we have the video from primetime from 2002
That's
or
amazing.
2003 that this has been going on for a long time.
Well, tell people about your practice, first of all.
So we are a periodontal practice. So in dentistry, there are 9 recognized dental specialties.
Gum diseases.
We treat gum disease or periodontal disease, which is an infection that attacks the bone and causes teeth to loosen and fall out. That's what I was primarily trained to do in the 80s. And implants also became popular towards the late 80s, early 90s. So there was a parallel track. We became experts, and we still are experts at treating gum disease. The methods we use now are vastly different than what we used to use.
Oh, I'm sure.
We're using lasers, we're using biotechnology, we're using regenerative materials, minimally invasive approaches, endoscopes, really sophisticated stuff so that we can do this quickly and efficiently and save teeth if it's possible. If it's not possible, we sort of flip into another mode and then we replace teeth. So that's, as periodontists, and in my practice I have 4 board-certified periodontists, and that is a big deal because not
It
all
is a big deal.
dentists are specialists, not all specialists are board certified. And we have all gone to the extra step to make sure that we are board certified. And I think says a lot about our integrity and our commitment to making sure that we are as skilled and highly trained and aware of treatment options as we possibly can
Well,
be.
I was just telling Dr. Jeff, because a lot of people know I have a morning talk show in Miami, and we had a big name on our show, and we were talking about your practice, and he said, I'm kind of looking for somebody. And I said, let me tell you something. They have literally done thousands, not hundreds, thousands. And he said, you know what excites me about that? He said, I've gone to 3 or 4 dentists. And he said, it seems like no one has a lot of experience, because a lot of them, they were dentists, general dentists, and they put that sign out there that they do implants. And listen, when you get implants, it's a real specialty. And you want to make sure the person you go to really knows what he's doing. And he said, give me his phone number. So you're going to have a big star next week. But
We've had
but
others
he
too,
said,
but I'm glad to hear it, Bob.
But he said,
I'm glad to hear
you're
it.
thinking Miami, he said, I was surprised there wasn't a lot of experience. They might have had general, dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, but implants is a whole different area.
Well, there's a whole theory that you become an expert in something after 10,000.
Yeah.
That's Malcolm Gladwell's book called Outliers. And I know personally I've probably placed my 10,000th implant 15 years ago. So, or maybe not quite that long ago. But the point is, Bill Gates was an expert at programming because he programmed for so long. He hit his 10,000th. Pele was an excellent soccer player because he'd been practicing for so long.
Right.
And as periodontists and as specialists and as focusing in this area of dentistry that we're really zoned in on, we become experts because it's what we do. We're set up for it. We have everything we could possibly need. We have experience managing complications. We fix other problems that come in.
That were done by other dentists.
It happens all the time. And we know how to avoid them as well. So we have this down. Not to say that things don't go wrong, but we have this down and we know how to fix it, and we own it, we manage it, and we will not let you fall apart. We are there from beginning to end.
Can you give everybody we're going to go to our break. Can you give everybody your phone number?
Yeah, we're at 561-912-9993.
And give everybody your website, because this show is actually playing on your website right now.
We are at www.fl for Florida, smile, smile.com.
You can actually go to the show. If you've missed part of it today, you can go back and watch it later. I think this is so incredible what you do, and I have a story because you change people's lives. You really do.
We do.
So we're going to talk about that when we come back. We'll be back with Dr. Jeff, South Florida Center for Periodontic and Implant Dentistry.
Get your smile ready for summer. Are you missing teeth? Do you have loose teeth? Can you bite into an apple? Is your smile ready to hit the beach this summer with confidence? We all work out and try to look great since we live in paradise. You need a smile to match. The South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry can help you replace those failing or missing teeth with a beautiful smile and the confidence you deserve. The doctors at the South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry have helped thousands of patients rejuvenate their smiles for nearly 30 years by replacing failing and missing teeth with dental implants. Often new teeth are replaced the very same day using the technique they pioneered more than 15 years ago. Teeth today. At the South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry, all of their doctors are board-certified dental specialists. They have placed thousands of dental implants, and we all know that experience matters. Call the South Florida Center for Periodontics and Implant Dentistry today to schedule your free consultation. Call them at 561-912-9993. You'll be glad you did.
You know, Doctor, I did tell you this here with Dr. Jeff. We're talking about dental implants, and I did have a question. So people want to know what your hours are. I had two people ask, "What time do you open in the mornings?"
We're in the office Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
Okay, so someone's there at 8 o'clock to answer the phone.
Oh, absolutely.
If they want to make an appointment. Do you ever get emergency calls?
We get them all the time. And we handle our emergencies. We always have someone available 24/7. Most of the time, after hours, we can manage things with a phone call. Every once in a while, we got to open up the office and do something.
Well, I have a story to tell you. We have a friend of ours. She's an older woman, but she takes good care of herself. She's missing her top two teeth. First of all, when you're missing your top two teeth, you smile different because you want to hide that. And it's very noticeable. You can't really hide it. So she's got some kind of a settlement going, and there's so many things that she could do with her money. And she said, I listened to your show. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get dental implants. I'm talking about there's so many things that she could do, but dental implants was number one. And I know when she gets those dental implants, I'm telling you, it's going to change her life.
Yeah, a lot of people get very self-conscious about their smiles. And it's a very primitive instinct of people to look at a person, and you look at two things. You look them straight in the eyes, and then you look at their smile. And we do very fast, instinctive judgments about someone's personality based on facial expression, their eyes, and their smile. So if your teeth are crooked, if they are discolored, or worse, if they're missing, and you hide it, you contort your face in a way so that you don't show that space. Other people read that as being, you're not happy, you're mad at them,
right.
You're mean, and it changes your relationships very profoundly. I had a guy
You've seen a lot of this to come to your office.
I see it all the time. And I get a lot of satisfaction out of the technical procedures that I do. But what really gives me a sense of accomplishment is when I fix someone's head a little bit, when their attitude changes. I had a guy who came in who was in his 40s, and he had really bad periodontal disease. It was so bad that he was afraid his front tooth was going to fall out. He came to my office the day of his daughter's birthday, and I forget, she was going to be about 7 or 8. And she said to him, Daddy, why are you always mad at me? And it killed him because he wasn't mad at her at all. He was just hiding his teeth by sort of grimacing. And she interpreted it as meaning that he was just upset all the time. So the first thing we did, before we talked about implants or anything else, is we cleaned up that tooth, bonded it into place so he could go to her birthday party and smile and know that this wasn't going to fall out.
Yeah, right.
And, man, that by itself changed his whole attitude. Yes, he wound up with a bunch of implants. Yes, he wound up losing his top teeth. And, by the way, because we're periodontists, because we believe in saving teeth, I saved all his lower teeth.
Wow.
And that was huge because most of the other opinions he had was take them all out and wear dentures. And that's a devastating piece of advice to give someone in their 40s.
Yeah, very.
It's bad enough for someone in their 70s.
Of your patients?
Our average age is probably 50s, 60s, but we have...
Male, female? Is it...
Women tend to take better care of themselves than men do, so we tend to see more women.
More women?
That's kind of a negative reflection on men.
I know, a lot of the questions we get are from women.
But that's just who we are. We're kind of too proud to take care of ourselves a lot of times.
Right.
But it means just as much to men as it does to women to take care of yourself and to feel good about your smile and yourself.
Can we talk? We only have a few minutes left. Can we talk about these fast teeth? I forgot what it's called, where you can actually have them done in a fast period of time.
We're talking about teeth today, I think.
Yeah.
Is what, well, that's really what got me on Extreme Makeover, and that we're much better at it now than we were 15 years ago. They look better, they last longer. But our promise to our patients is you will leave our office with teeth.
How do you do that?
We harness a lot of different methods to accomplish that.
Because you got to do a lot of measurements, don't you?
We do. And there's some people that are afraid to come in, even to have impressions made of their teeth because they think that we're gonna pull them out during the impression.
Right.
We know how to deal with that. We do an optical impression, basically, or it's a digital impression, so we don't touch the teeth at all.
Okay.
And we can just scan your mouth and make up a new set of teeth based on that without even touching you. It's remarkable technology.
Now, are these implants?
These are the teeth that attach to the implants.
Okay.
Think of the implants as the anchors.
Anchor, okay.
The anchor goes into the jaw, and that heals permanently. In the meantime, you need to look at something. You need to chew with something. That's not the implant itself. That's just the anchor. When we do these quickly, they're plastic because we need to be able to work fast.
Right. You do all your work in your office, or do you have to send them out?
It depends. Some we do in the office, some we send out. It really depends on
How
what kinds
extensive,
of
probably.
materials it is, how big the procedure is going to be. Is it one tooth? Is it many teeth? And what do we have to start with? So we are very happy to lean on some of our skilled colleagues, like laboratory technicians. And we pick and choose. The reason we don't have one in our office is because there is no such thing as a super skilled technician that can handle all situations. So we send out what we need to. We do
You
some
have
things
labs
in-house.
you send them out to.
Correct. And we also work with other dentists when we need to. And we often do. So we have great relationships with dozens or hundreds of dentists in this area.
Is that the
we've been
most
here for a
popular
long time.
thing now, is being able to get teeth in a day?
No, because a lot of people still are afraid of it. They think it's new. They think it's experimental, which kind of blows me away because we've been doing this for more than 20 years. And our success rate with these immediate teeth or teeth today is just as good as with traditional procedures.
Wow.
Now, that's not true across the board in other offices with other practices because they don't have nearly the experience or their perspective or the capabilities that we have.
I just think that's so amazing. So give everybody your phone number again and your website.
We're at 561-912-9993. Our website is www.flsmile, that's floridasmile.com.
So if they come in, they sit down with you, when you have the implants, can you go back to work the next day?
Almost 100% of the time, yes.
And of course, I remember when we took questions for pain. How
And-
painful is it?
It's really the most painful part of this is walking in the door or picking
I
up
love
the
it.
phone to make the
Right.
appointment. The procedure itself is not painful. The aftermath has some swelling, some discomfort. We have all sorts of medications and methods to get you through it. You're certainly not going to be bedridden with pain. You're going to be functioning, and you're going to have some throbbing, and you're going to go about your life.
You make it sound so easy.
The hardest thing is picking up the phone.
And I'm going to tell you something, like I was telling you before, it absolutely will change your life. I mean, it really does, because you can smile. You don't have to hide that smile anymore. And I think the other thing is going to a practice like yours, I think that alone, you don't have zero worries. Because like I said, here's a guy who's been out there shopping that in Miami, there's a lot of cosmetic dentists in Miami. And he said, I didn't feel someone had enough practice in it. And when I said, I'm telling you, they've literally done thousands. And he said, I have not heard that. So I think just a peace of mind that the person who's going to do this work has done so many of them, could probably do it with their eyes shut. That's a good feeling too.
And it's not just me and my partners, it's our whole team. We do this all day, every day. We know how to set it up. We know how to schedule it. We know how to get the whole process done, and we know how to do it efficiently.
Well, speaking of efficiently, I love the way you do the show. It goes by so fast. Dr. Jeff, hopefully you'll be back with us again next month, and maybe Fred will be back. He's already looking at to see, do I have to go out to Los Angeles?
No, that gig ended.
Okay, so one more time, give everybody the phone number. We got another minute.
561-912-9993.
And I got to tell you something. These guys are the real deal. That's why they're on Ask the Experts. Hey, we're going to be back next week with more Ask the Experts. And everybody have a great week, and we'll see you then.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show. Tune in while some of the top local experts in their field from Broward and Palm Beach counties educate you in the areas of law, health, financial, and home improvement. You can also call our offices at 888-574-6999 to become an expert on our show. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff,